Cvent reporting is not something that I've actually hosted a session on before, and in large part because Cvent support is so incredible. So that doesn't mean people haven't been using it, but a little interesting that the first time we're hosting it is actually more around this time when it's an upgrade. So we'll review today what that upgrade means and how it might impact you. To kick off, we will just talk about basic Cvent definitions. And so reporting is that overarching term. But legacy reports is really what we're calling those old reports. So if you see those terms, they're interchangeable. Whereas they are being replaced by new reports, or what's just basically called reports. And so while the terminology is slightly different and the interface is quite different, it is a good step into the future, the purpose of reports is remaining the same. You can still achieve those same goals with reports, it's just going to be with a slightly different and upgraded interface. So these new reports have been available for about a year, and so many of you might have naturally just kind of gravitated into these newer reports. And so it might not be as new for some of you, but others, you might have remained in those legacy reports or perhaps not use them at all. Another term that will be important for us, I think definitely less frequently used today and just generally a lesser use case, but this is the idea that all those amazing reports you're creating about your events, whether it's financial information or a report of who's attending to print name tags, maybe there's somebody else in your office who doesn't have a Cvent license, so they don't log in there and they can't access that report, and you're thinking it'd be wonderful if they did. And so we don't have to pay for a whole license if that's all they're doing. We can actually make these available via a secured login, and then they can download those reports in real time and kind of eliminate you as the middleman, which I love doing as often as I can. Is that we were using parked report groups, but soon, as of December 15th, we'll get into this in a moment, we'll be migrating to what's called a portal. And so again, same use case, just making reports accessible to folks for free. So as of December 15th, 2020, you will no longer be able to create legacy reports. And so what that means is that instead of, if you go to your event right now and you were thinking, oh, I'm going to create a legacy report from scratch and save it today, that is not going to be possible. But the good news is you can still get all the same data. It's just going to be in a slightly different interface. So a little bit of a learning curve on your end, but you're able to reach that same goal. It is important to note, and this is getting a little bit technical, and I hesitate on going here just because the first bullet point, it just moved to new reporting. It's really intuitive, it's much nicer, there's some other benefits to it, so just kind of make that leap. You kind of have to. But if you are someone who has been saving legacy reports for a long time, and today you're thinking, oh, well, I went in there 2 days ago and I ran that report, I want to run it today, that is still going to be possible. If you have saved them previously, you can still go ahead and run them, modify them, you just can't save them again. It's also important to note that similar to that, if you have already saved a legacy report in a parked report group, it is still going to exist there. This December 15th timeframe does not impact those saved legacy reports in those parked report groups. So I'm actually going to go ahead and hop into Cvent and just show you this. Let me log in real quick. So currently I am in an event that I had saved legacy reports in before the 15th. And so when I'm looking at my event and I hover reporting, I do see reports, which is the new reporting interface. But I also still have these legacy reports. And so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. This is where there were many, many different templates for you to build off of. And so those templates do not exist here anymore. Again, you can't create these from scratch. But I am seeing a saved report because I saved this report in this event previously. So I can still absolutely go ahead and look at this report, change the time frame, put different fields into it, and go ahead and run it. Well, I'm not going to wait too long for it, but I'm expecting that I would not be able to save it after this, but you can still run it, you can still export it. So that should help you with this 6-month kind of runway. Differently, I'm actually going to go into a separate event, very, very similar, but this tripped me up when I was looking at it. That in this event, when I go look at my reporting, I see reports up here, but I don't see a legacy reports option, that old reporting. And the reason for that is because I never saved a report in this event. So there's nothing for me to go run. So the nice thing is this new reporting feature is automatically in every single event across our entire account. So it's really going to encourage you and force you down the path of navigating to the new reporting and building reports out here. But if you have any questions, confusion around those definitions we talked about, as well as what the timelines look like, this is a great reference point. But the third toggle here really on new reporting, and we do show you where to access it based on the different event that you might have created, whether it's Express or maybe even a cross event report. Once you get into the interface, it's all the same. So there is a 15-minute video that Cvent's created on all the ins and outs of that reporting. I would encourage you to go ahead and play with. But I've also seen numerous users just familiar enough with the terminology that you can go around and poke around yourself, whatever your learning style. So again, you kind of have 6 months in order to make this migration. And so the real concern will come closer to mid-year when those legacy reports that were saved will actually be removed. If they were parked in a parked report group, those will no longer be able to be accessed after that June 30th, 2021. So that will definitely force you to migrate if you didn't already. So I did keep things today very high level on what to expect. And so I did not show you how to go and create these reports. And the reason for that is because of the amazing resources that Cvent already created. And so no surprise, we do have a wiki devoted to this transition that has a little bit deeper dive into those parked report groups, or what's going to be called portals, or a single portal in the future. The beauty of these portals, I know I already mentioned making it accessible to folks for free, that we don't have to pay for a license, but I'm actually going to call out one down here that aligns very well with advancement, Caroline Federoff's team as well. We use this for all paid events. As we collect money, and that our Treasury office uses reports in a parked report group to constantly get access to that information so that they don't have to go to us, so that they can allocate money. Same as the foundation, they access reports to see what money is being donated via Cvent so that they can go through all of their processes whenever they wish. So we are absolutely using it. You might even be benefiting from it, even if you're unaware of it. But more broadly than that, maybe there's another event planner in your shop who is putting the order in for meal preferences or ordering food, because we used to host in-person events. There is a different report that they alone could have access to. Perhaps a different view of that information that a supervisor might want is across multiple events, looking at attendance. Have we done better with our events? Has attendance decreased? So whatever that perspective the individual wants, as long as you create that report, we can make it available to them for free. So creating the report is something that users have the ability to do, but as far as making it available in the portal, you will need to contact your eComm specialist. We'll navigate back to that tutorial or that wiki that we put together. And so if you are interested in more information around the portals, so the good news is requesting that to access to the portal is 3 pretty easy steps. So you will need to request a portal user, at which point when the eComm specialist creates that portal user in Cvent, an email will automatically be triggered to that individual. So at that point, they will need to go to the portal and set a password. And so that's the security piece, that they're going to set up their own password based on that username or email address it was set up with. Once their account is active, of course, actually requesting which reports those individuals have access to. And so when your eComm specialist goes to publish a report to the portal, whoever they make or give access to, they're able to fire an email off to them as well, so that you know which new report got added to the portal. And then after that, there is a single link that everyone across CU is going to use. It's a single portal. So I've had people complain with parked report groups in the past that they needed to know like 6 different URLs, and it was a different URL for every event. This is going to be the same URL for everybody. And once you get there, of course, using the password that they set up. And then we do have a little screenshot in here, an example of where they can see those reports and have the ability to run it. Diving in a bit deeper, they can filter that data further. Maybe they only want to see a couple days of the data, maybe they want 6 months of it, and then can export it as needed.